Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. Don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button and hit the bell icon and set your notifications to all, that way you never miss a future upload. Another day, another drama channel drama, and today we're going to be talking about Without a Crystal Ball getting exposed and dragged by her ex-channel member, WOACB. Now if you haven't seen my previous video about Jeffree Star dating Kanye West, I will link that in a card up over here, as well as down in the description box down below, so definitely make sure you go and check that out as well. Alright, let's go ahead and get on into it. Now, if you haven't been keeping up to date with what's going on Without a Crystal Ball, a little quick backstory is that Without a Crystal Ball is being sued by Tati, Westbrook, and her husband, as well as from Halo, for information that she has put out against them that they are calling defamation. Well, since all that has happened, a whole lot more of information has been coming out. I haven't been reporting on a lot of it because a lot of it's just a little of this, a little of that. I've been waiting for something to drop major, which is something that we're going to be discussing in this video that is coming from her ex-supporter, WOACB. Now, if you want more information about what's going on with the case in between, definitely make sure you check out Emily D. Baker. She does a lot of the in-depth research into it because she is an attorney and she'll go through all the documents and explain them. Also, True Sleuth is reporting on most things that are happening with this case, as well as Drama and Opinions. I will link all their channels in the description box down below, so definitely make sure you go and check them out if you want to know more in-depth information about what's going on with this case. Now, basically what has happened is that WOACB, one of Without a Crystal Ball's ex-supporters, has gone over to Tati's attorney and said, hey, look, information that Without a Crystal Ball is giving you is not correct, and here is what's actually happening. I want to set the record straight because I tried to contact them and set the record straight and they aren't listening, so I decided to come to you and give you all this information. So we're going to be going over some of the big things that came out in this document, so let's go ahead and get on into it. Now, to me, my opinion, the reason that WOACB went over to Tati's attorney to give them all this information is because of something that Without a Crystal Ball said in her declaration. WOACB has been a longtime supporter of Without a Crystal Ball, and in Without a Crystal Ball's declaration, she basically says that no, Lori's not my best friend, that was a joke, and I don't even consider her a friend at all. Let's go ahead and take a look at what Without a Crystal Ball's actual statement was in her declaration. Without a Crystal Ball's original statement reads, prior to this lawsuit being filed, I have been in contact over social media with WOACB Barnhart on a few occasions. I did not know Miss Barnhart was a resident of Washington. I am unaware of the state of residence of most of my subscribers and viewers because that information is not important to me or my business. When I referred to Miss Barnhart as my quote-unquote best friend, it was not meant literally or even seriously. It was a lighthearted comment on the fact that she had been a critic of mine and had turned into a supporter. I meant it as a hyperbole, and I believe the context makes it obvious to any reasonable person. I have had very limited interactions with Miss Barnhart and do not know her well, and do not consider her to be a friend at all, let alone my quote-unquote best friend. And I'm sure when WOACB saw that, she was like, really? I've been your supporter, I've been a ride or die for you, and you don't even consider me a friend? WOACB goes on in this statement to say that her and Without a Crystal Ball contact each other regularly, multiple times a week. They've exchanged emails, and she's also shared personal information with her in her emails about herself, and Without a Crystal Ball is basically saying, no, I don't even consider her a friend at all. So if I was Lori, I would feel extremely hurt about that too. This is a person that you have supported and cared about and done lots of things for, and they turn around and basically say in a sworn statement, no, that's not my friend, I don't even know that person. So of course she's going to be hurt. I would be hurt too. So I don't know, in my opinion, I feel like Lori is like, okay, if you're going to say that I'm not even your friend, why am I trying to protect you? So in my opinion, I feel like that's one of the reasons why Lori also gave all this information out. She's like, you know what, I'm not going to protect you anymore because you don't even consider me a friend. But let's go ahead and look at what Lori has to say in her declaration. WOACB's statement reads, I have reviewed Ms. Paulson's supplemental declaration in support of her motion to dismiss. At paragraph 6, she states that she had been in contact over social media with me on only a few occasions. This is false. It is also false that she did not know I was a resident of Washington. We were Facebook friends and my state of residence was displayed on my profile. In addition, there have been instances over the course of our communication where I had specifically stated to Ms. Paulson that I lived in Washington. And the reason she keeps bringing up Washington is because they're trying to get jurisdiction in Washington, and Without a Crystal Ball was saying, I don't even know anybody in Washington, I don't have supporters in Washington, I don't get revenue from Washington, there's no reason why this case needs to be in Washington. And so WOACB is saying here, no, she knows that I was from Washington, she knew I was a supporter from Washington, so what she's saying in her statement that she didn't know anybody in Washington was supporting her is a lie. On several occasions, Ms. Paulson asked me to do certain things for defendants, such as mass flagging content of other detractors and competitors' YouTube channels. Defendants would ask me and others to help mass flag competitors' YouTube channels that made negative comments about defendants in order to have their platform demonetized or taken away. Sometimes the orders to mass flag someone's channel or content were made by Ms. Paulson publicly, sometimes the orders were sent by Ms. Paulson to me in private messages on Twitter. One such account I was told to flag was Lil Red, a YouTube creator and competitor of defendants who was publishing negative comments regarding Ms. Paulson. On one occasion, I received a private message from Miss Paulson instructing me to flag a YouTube creator and competitor's YouTube channel named Sherelle's World. As her agent, I followed her directions as requested and reported the channels to YouTube for having inappropriate content. And right here, Lori-Ann is throwing Without a Crystal Ball under the bus and saying she has asked me personally to mass flag channels that are talking bad about her. Now that is against YouTube's terms of service to falsely report content, and she's putting this in a sworn document that Without a Crystal Ball asked her to do so. So if YouTube is paying attention to this case, this could lead to the suspension, if not deletion, of Without a Crystal Ball's channel as long as everything can be proven as fact. There were no screenshots in this document that showed Without a Crystal Ball asking her to do so, so I don't know if there are any, but we'll have to wait and see if they do come out, because obviously that's something that they're going to need to be able to prove. But the fact that she is saying in a sworn statement that she had received personal messages from Without a Crystal Ball asking her to do so would make me believe that she does have the screenshots to back it up. So again, if this is proven to be true, this could actually terminate Without a Crystal Ball's channel because of her asking someone to mass flag and falsely flag other creators' channels. Defendants would also use me as their agent to perform other tasks, such as delivering messages to people on Twitter that defendant had blocked. Below is a true and correct copy of a screenshot of a Twitter conversation wherein Miss Paulson gave me such instructions to perform on her behalf. And in the screenshot you can see it says, "Do you blame her? Send me your pic so I can blow it up and pick you apart. Let me judge your parenting and your marriage. A person can only take so much. Her guard is up, but it's coming down." And Without a Crystal Ball replied saying, "Let her know this is why she's blocked. Because I know she's trolling." It's like Without a Crystal Ball is out here playing mob boss. Like, she's really asking people to do things for her and say, hey, contact this person, I have them blocked, and let them know this because I'm not going to unblock them. You just go ahead and tell them for me. Like, really? If you want somebody to know something, why don't you just unblock them and do it yourself? Like, come on. Lori-Ann then states, "Each and every time I was asked to do something or did something on behalf of, for, or at the request of defendants, I was physically located in Washington. Again, this was a fact I did not hide from defendants, and to the best of my recollection, frequently disclosed to defendants." So again, Lori-Ann is reiterating the fact that Without a Crystal Ball knew that she lived in Washington, so that way she could possibly help establish jurisdiction for the state of Washington. Lori-Ann states, "Though I canceled my membership, I still remained friendly with Miss Paulson after the lawsuit was filed in October 2020. As a result of my continued friendship with Miss Paulson and my prior reputation of being a staunch protector bulldog of Miss Paulson, I started to receive messages from people on Twitter who were trying to discredit me. In their efforts to discredit me, on or about November 5th, 2020, people had stated not only I lived in the state of Washington, but because I previously made it generally known that I previously worked for the government, that I was the person publicly listed on the internet as Lori-Ann Barnhart that worked for the Department of Transportation. Although the person listed on the website for the Washington Department of Transportation has the exact same name as me and is a government employee from the same state as me, that is not me. However, I did not publicly correct these people on Twitter who published this information on or about November 5th, 2020 as if it were fact and otherwise allowed them to continue to believe that I worked for the Department of Transportation. Instead, I am a retired member of a federal agency. As such, I take responsibility for my part in allowing this misunderstanding to be accepted as fact, and for that I apologize. Shortly after reading the declaration of Kim Fulmer that contained the wrong information about my employment, I was concerned that a person who was not me was going to be contacted to be a witness in this lawsuit. I therefore contacted Miss Paulson through Twitter direct message on or about December 24th, 2020, and informed her of my concern. Miss Paulson informed me that she was not able to speak about the case. I then responded that it is my intention to call plaintiff's attorney to notify them about the issue and see if they could do anything to correct it. Miss Paulson told me expressly to not contact plaintiff's counsel, but to contact her attorney, Michael P. Brown, instead. So Lori-Ann was trying to correct the information that people put on the internet saying, hey, this is her, she works at the Department of Transportation, and the fact that somebody who has her exact same name, lives in the same state, works for a government agency is just a huge coincidence. But the fact that she is trying to go about and correcting that really shows that she's like, hey, no, this isn't right. This person's going to be notified to be a witness in this lawsuit and she's not going to know anything about it. So I want to make sure that they have the correct information. So I'm going to make sure it gets corrected. I'm going to contact Without a Crystal Ball and say, hey, we need to make sure we get this corrected. And when she reached out to Without a Crystal Ball said, oh, I can't talk about the case. Since when can't you talk about the case? You literally talk about the case on Twitter all the time. You talk about the case on your YouTube channel all the time. People have been telling you to stop talking about the case because you just keep digging yourself into a bigger hole. But when somebody's trying to come forward and say, hey, this information isn't correct, we need to correct it, you're like, oh no, I can't talk about the case. Like, really? Come on. So Lori was like, no, I'm going to contact Tati's attorney then, since you're not going to help me get this corrected, and you're going to say, no, don't contact them, make sure you contact my attorney. Like, really? No, she's trying to get this information corrected. She told you that needs to be corrected. You could have passed that information along to your attorney, but instead you basically said, I can't talk about the case anymore. You could have taken that information to your attorney and say, hey, Lorianne reached out to me. She wants this corrected because this is not the correct person. Yes, they live in the same state. Yes, they have the same name, but obviously if this person gets subpoenaed, it's not going to be the correct person. So we need to make sure that this gets corrected, so that way if this does go to trial and we need to call her in for something, we get the right person called in. From the very first interaction I had with Mr. Brown, I felt he was being misleading. He led me to believe that plaintiffs filed their opposition right before Christmas to intentionally mess with me, and not because that was a court-imposed deadline. On December 30th, 2020, Mr. Brown informed me that plaintiffs' counsel was planning to subpoena my Twitter, which caused me concern. He stated, quote, they think there may be evidence there about your connection to Katie. I did not disclose that you and I are in touch. Saltz even complained to me that you threatened him via DM. Mr. Brown thereafter sought to have me sign a declaration on behalf of defendants that did nothing more than attack and malign plaintiffs' counsel, which I thought to be inappropriately and ultimately did not do. By way of example, Mr. Brown, in an email dated December 24th, 2020 at 3:38 p.m., tried to encourage me to file state bar complaints against one of plaintiff's attorneys and otherwise suggest that I should perceive plaintiff's counsel's private attempts to obtain information from me as a threat. The fact is, plaintiff's counsel's attempt to communicate with me privately to informally obtain information contained no threats. So Without a Crystal Ball's attorney is encouraging Lorianne to file a state bar complaint against one of Tati's attorneys and saying, hey, you should let them know that this person's trying to get information from you and you feel like you're getting threatened by them. I also did not feel comfortable with Mr. Brown wanting me to sign a declaration stating that I was threatened by Mr. Saltz, when Mr. Saltz had not threatened me. Nor have I ever told Mr. Brown that Mr. Saltz threatened me. Specifically, Mr. Brown stated, quote, we are filing something today that addresses the threat Saltz recently made to you. It would be great if you would state that you took it as a threat and felt intimidated. And that's a direct quote, so I'm assuming that means that she has some kind of documentation, whether it's an email, a direct message, or something from Without a Crystal Ball's attorney saying, hey, it would be great if you could make a statement saying that you took his messages as threatening and that he threatened you. Like, really? If she has an actual screenshot of this information, which I'm assuming she does because it's a quote, that's not going to be good, because that's Without a Crystal Ball's attorney saying, hey, you should definitely make sure you say that you took him as threatening. That's not going to be good. And clearly Lorianne stated that she did not take any interaction that she had with Tati's attorney as threatening, so the fact that they want her to state it as threatening, that's not going to be good once the judge sees that. Based on the overall impression that Mr. Brown left with me during my interactions with him during the past few weeks, I cut off all communications with defendants and defendants' attorney. To be certain, I was shocked and horrified that defendants and their attorneys, who were apparently supposed to be looking out for my best interest, especially since they said they are representing me in this matter, ignored my express request to speedily take action to correct the record in regard to the false attribution of my employment, which was my fault, and instead hide the error from plaintiffs for their tactical advantage. Despite that Mr. Brown knew about the error since December 24th, 2020, defendants and defendants' counsel have apparently done nothing to inform plaintiffs' counsel to correct the error, which is expressly against my wishes. Therefore, I reached out to plaintiffs' counsel by telephone for the first time on January 12, 2021 to give them the foregoing information for the purpose of setting the record straight, and to inform them for the first time about the existence of the facts contained in this declaration. So Lorianne said that she tried to reach out to them and get the information corrected, and they were not getting the information corrected, so she decided to reach out to Tati's attorney instead on the 12th, and then this got filed on the 13th, so literally it got filed the next day. So clearly Tati's attorney is putting in the work. He is not going to let any of this go, so we'll have to see what happens next. But to me, it seems like Lorianne is like, nope, I am done. I am not dealing with this anymore. I want this corrected. I want it to be over. We need to make sure that all this information gets out there, and here is what really happened from my side. So we'll have to see what happens next, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have some kind of response from Without a Crystal Ball, whether it's a live stream, whether it's a tweet, whether it's a video, or if there's another motion filed. I don't really know. We'll have to just wait and see. But that is everything that I have for today's video, so I'd love to know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. Also, if you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that big red subscribe button and hit the bell icon and set your notifications to all. That way you never miss a future upload. Alright, that's everything for today, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!